Hello dear friends, welcome to this program, Moments with God, where like every day I try to share with you my simple and humble reflections on the daily mass readings with the hope that this will help you and me to get deeper into our inner selves and to be a little more detached, if I may say so, from the external world, because what happens externally in the world and what turmoil or things that go on into our inner selves don't always match. They are two different worlds, particularly if we are aware of what's happening within us, our thoughts, our desires, and the demands of the world. But I hope that this will help us, and if you like the video, you may please share it with others. Thank you. Today, as you see, I am sitting on a heap. This is a heap actually of manure that is being prepared for the fields. It's a manure really, and I'm sitting on this heap of manure. Do you know why? Because today's first reading is from the book of Job. I will come to that just in a minute. You see, yesterday we celebrated the feast of the guardian angel, the day before yesterday the feast of Teresa of Child Jesus, and because of that we could not focus on the first readings of the daily mass, which were from the book of Job, one of the most fascinating books. Of course, every word of God, everything is quite fascinating in the Bible, but for me personally, I have found the book of Job very fascinating, of course, very interesting, very inspiring, and above all, very helpful, particularly at the time when I was going through pain, suffering, rejection, betrayal by friends and by confreres or by people who I liked and loved, etc. Now, you know very well the story of Job, and if you are not aware, I would recommend that you please read it. Of course, it's a bit long book with 42 chapters, but you needn't go through all of them, and sometimes I know it is a bit difficult writing also to follow exactly their arguments and the deep thoughts that are lying within. But let me just quickly tell you why I'm sitting here on the heap of manure, because this is what happened to Job. Job, as you know, everything was taken away from him as God allowed the Satan to put a test, because Satan had told God that, you know, Job is being faithful to you and is being good to you only because he's doing so well, he is so prosperous, he has so many children, he has property and assets and everything. But you take away all these things from him and he will start cursing you, says the Satan to God. And therefore God allows him to test Job. And what does the Satan do? He takes everything away from him. But Job does not speak a word against God. So much so that after he had done everything, taken everything that was dear to him, his children, his grandchildren, his property, his assets, his fields, everything, then he still did not turn against God. Then the devil started giving him physical pain, brought wounds all on his body. That's why I'm also sitting in a black cloth, mourning, as it were, with Job. And you know, in the last few chapters, today, of course, the reading is from the 9th chapter of the book of Job. 3 of his friends come to console him and to also advise him. And it is said, the book says, that for 7 days they came and sat with him and nobody spoke a word, because they were so themselves traumatized seeing the tragic situation of Job. Finally, then after 7 days, Job spoke. But Job, before he started speaking, he was sitting on the heap and a dump of manure, of all that was waste, because his own condition was so bad. His skin had pores and they were oozing out pus and blood. His condition was really bad. But still he never spoke against God. Of course, what he does say after his 3 friends had spoken to him from chapter 3 to chapter 8, you find that these 3 friends have come and they started speaking to him. Of course, they first say that, yes, you have been a good man and you have been advising everybody else. Now as the time come, God has given you the pain and suffering, etc. Now what do you have to say? Maybe because you did something wrong, you were proud or whatever. But he says, how can anyone contend with God? Even if we were to contend with God, God will answer us in something that in 1,000 times we will not be able to answer back or even understand. So he understands and he accepts that God is mighty. He says that God is mighty. He has created the whole world. Without his permission, even the earth does not shake. But when he gets upset, the earth shakes and the floods come, etc. But he is constantly in awe of God, even though he is suffering. He had done nothing wrong. He knows that he had done nothing wrong, and still suffering comes to him. I know, my dear friends, that there are many of us who have this question in our life. Why do I have to suffer? What wrong did I do? Why has God sent this suffering on me? It is not just in the past, but even now. There are a lot of people who suffer for apparently no reason, or at least they cannot see a reason in it, or others do not see a reason in it. Of course, there are some people who are very judgmental, who pass immediately a judgment on others, saying that yes, maybe he has done something wrong, that's why God has punished him. Like these 3 friends of Job, let us not bother about what other people say. What is important for us is to be in touch with God and to be faithful to what God is saying. I am sure you will find a lot of inspiration if you pick up the book of Job, and you don't have to always sit on the heap of dust to experience God's dependence on God. I wish you all the very best, and I hope you have subscribed to this channel. If not, please do so. Thank you.